Hi, this is Max Majeski, attorney for MJM Law Office in Eugene, Oregon. And today we're going to be talking about how to restore your driving privileges if you've been revoked in the state of Oregon for having a third DUI or other reasons that you may have had your license revoked. And so basically, the way the license suspensions and revocations work in Oregon, on a first DUI conviction, you get a 1-year suspension. On a second conviction, if it's been within 5 years, your previous one, you get a 3-year suspension. And then if you get a third conviction, and that can be a DUI in any jurisdiction over any time frame, so even out-of-state DUIs would apply. Then you go in and get convicted on a third DUI in Oregon, you're going to get a lifetime revocation with the ability to apply for getting your license back after 10 years. And so a revocation is different than a suspension in that you cannot use a hardship permit. If you're revoked, there's just no driving whatsoever for you in Oregon. However, if you are revoked, and you get through that 10-year window, then there's a process where we can petition the court to allow you to have your driving privileges restored. And so we do this in the circuit court in the county in which you were revoked. And so some people get revoked on a third DUI in a municipal court, like in Springfield or Eugene Municipal Court. If that was the case, we still don't file for the return of your license in that municipal court. It all has to go through the circuit court. The most important thing here is that you have not had a driving while suspended over the last 10 years. If you do have a driving while suspended, then that's going to reset that 10-year time frame, and you won't be eligible until you've made it 10 years from that most recent driving while suspended. Other crimes are also going to hurt you because they would show the court that maybe you're not rehabilitated. Now, in order to have your driving privileges restored, there's a process by which we file a petition with the court. We usually include an affidavit that has a bunch of information about you, showing that you completed the treatment, you completed everything you needed to do on the case that you got revoked on. Also, character letters from friends and family. Basically the purpose of the petition and ultimate hearing is to show the court that you have been completely rehabilitated and would no longer be a danger to the community of drinking or driving, and that therefore the state of Oregon should give you your driving privileges back. And so basically there's a mandatory hearing in these cases. And the way the process works is we pull together the petition, we get information from the client about who you are and what you've been doing, letters of support, character letters showing you've been rehabilitated, file an affidavit with the petition with the court, and then the court sets the case for a hearing. The district attorney will review the case, see whether or not they're going to object to it. And like I said, if there's any criminal convictions in the last 10 years or other reasons, they may object to you getting your license back. And then there's that mandatory hearing. Now, there's a few factors that the court must consider at this hearing, and I'm just going to run through these straight out of the vehicle code. So it says the court shall hold a hearing, and they must consider the nature of the offense for which driving privileges were revoked. So kind of like what happened, was there a fatality, was there a major accident where people were injured, what was that last case that you got revoked on? The degree of violence involved in the offense, and so that's kind of what I was talking about, where did people get seriously injured or killed when this happened? Other criminal and relevant non-criminal behavior of the petitioner, both before and after the conviction, that resulted in the revocation. And so that's a really important one. That's where we're going to want to pull together a bunch of character letters, a bunch of letters of support, employment letters, if you've gone to AA, if you've been in recovery, if you've been in treatment, anything you can pull together showing that relevant activity and behavior, criminal and non-criminal, before and after the conviction. Because basically what the court wants to see is that, this was a wake-up call for you, you got revoked, but now it's been 10 years and you've totally made major changes in your life, really got your life back on track, and you deserve to have your license back so you could drive and work and do all the things you need to do. There's also would require a recommendation of the person's parole officer, which shall be based in part on a psychological evaluation ordered by the court. Now that's only if you were revoked on a felony and you had a probation officer, then you need to get the recommendation of that PO, and then any other relevant factors. And so we file that with the petition and the affidavit. They set it for a hearing, and the court holds a hearing, and then the code says if after the hearing, going over those factors, the court finds by clear and convincing evidence these factors, then they will give your license back to you. And so the factors they consider and that must be shown by clear and convincing evidence are that, and that just means more likely than not. That's not as heavy as like proof beyond a reasonable doubt. The things that the court needs to see and establish on the record is A, that you are rehabilitated. And so that's a big one, of course. B, that you do not pose a threat to the safety of the public. C, if the sentence for the crime for which the privileges were revoked required the petitioner to complete an alcohol or drug treatment program, that you completed that alcohol or drug treatment program, and you should have done that way back, 10 years ago when you got the DUI. You would have had to go to treatment and finish that as part of your probation. So you should have records of that. And then that's that. There's also a little bit in there about compliance with future responsibility filings, SR 22, that kind of thing. There's a little bit of process. If the court does award your driving privileges back, you're gonna have to have an ignition interlock device and some other requirements. But there is hope after being revoked for a third or subsequent DUI in Oregon and losing your driving privileges to be able to get those driving privileges back. So we've done quite a few of these types of cases. If you have any questions about this or want to pursue it, give us a call. This is Max Majeski, MJM Law Office in Eugene, Oregon. Thank you.